is
Yes.
what?
Well, it would be like an incomplete touching
Right.
because it's broken.
Right.
Well, that goes along with your idea and your move of a sequence of going from I'm near and then I touch and then I separate. It's like, am I right? Am I thinking a sequential evolution towards?
Yes. And then the dotted line,
Continuum.
we have used the long side symbol. I need another piece of paper.
I do.
If, for instance, you had your whole torso twisting, and then the arm as the whole torso twists, the arm passively, because of this, maybe not a very good example, but it moves there as a result, resulting, and not an action.
And that's something you're doing.
That kind of use of the dotted line.
So is this a case though now, as with some of the indications like a whole, like a zero, which means different things in the system. You know, sometimes it means sometimes it means what? Sometimes sometimes it means upper part, you know, and levity,
Yeah.
right? Sometimes
Like-
it
You mean
means
the chest symbol?
that's not the chest symbol. I'm saying, I'm not being clear. Is this now the use of, we've said that having a broken line in the relationship symbol is there because it visually looks like these things are not near to each other.
No.
They're not touching, they're just, there's a space between them. So that visually, it gives a sense of near, that's what we're kind of saying. But we're also using a broken line to mean something that is passive. But being near is not passive. But this, in this sense, you see what I mean? So that we're using the same idea in very different ways, much in the same way that, for example, we use, in the system, there are certain symbols that have different meanings.
You mean the head and then with the
So
area?
sometimes a circle means upper part of something, right?
I think you have to separate between when the circle is a part of the body sign and when it's by itself,
Right,
where it means retain.
right. And
And I
then,
think that is consistent. It means retain.
so when it's not, so you're saying when it's not in a symbol, then it means retain. When it's with a symbol, but here, what about this? So here we have
Standard course.
upper, and here we have body orientation. So you see, so the symbol has different meanings in the system.
No, in the torso symbol is this part of this,
But
part of
also-
the torso, and the other one is this whole body. It's the same logic.
Yes.
You've just broken it into two different parts, upper and the torso. But it still relates to body and not space.
Really? I don't think,
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
I don't,
I said that the circle in the cross and axis relates to body. And it was like the circle in the torso relates to body. And if it's not, you write something else inside the cross.
but the circle in the torso symbol does not say body, it says upper.
Upper.
It's a-
Just like
But
it's
at
still-
the one with the,
It's still the body.
it's
part of the
body orientation.
Body
It has to,
orientation,
yeah.
Okay.
I was also gonna point out this, the passive, like in partnering where somebody is passively turned.
Oh,
You know,
yes,
you have
yes.
the dotted.
Right.
Which again is the same derivation, the same concept.
Right, so passive is definitely consistent within a lot of symbols, but then the broken line within, within a
Yeah.
relationship, though, is has a different meaning.
Yeah.
I was just drawing the standard cross, which is based on gravity. It's the cross based on gravity, and then the one based on the body is, so instead of the black side, we have the white. Also, with that relating to the body.
Right.
So yes, I don't think our symbols go completely. There is some give and take, but in the whole torso sign, so Laban used to call this the light point, and then pelvis was the heavy point. So the black was the heavy, and the white was the light, which helps to remember it. And then the back of the hand, the white,
Right.
is the upper, black for the
Is the lower.
It's always your palm that gets dirty.
What was I gonna say? Oh, the one that always confused me, because as far as I know, it's the only one that represents a letter, is the C for head, for kaput. And it's in it, that's the only one in the system that represents a word, am I right? Can you think of any other?
No, that's true. This came from Laban, and Carl Waltz put forward a whole series of head symbols, which I think after he died, Eileen was going to present at ICOL.
It's on, we have it, it's on the, yeah.
Yeah,
It's on the Ible
she
paper,
presented.
Ible paper.
It never has entered the system, and it really does need reconsidering, because so often the head movement is in fact a neck movement, and it's not just the head
Yes,
itself.
yes.
And differentiating these things,
Like
I
head
think
tilt
his
is opposed to
symbols
head
would
turn.
be helpful.
Yeah, right, head tilt,
Yes.
turn, somersault.
Yes.
Head somersault, head
Cartwheel.
tilt. And, but
Cartwheel.
yeah.
Should we move on?
Did you want to say something more?
I was wondering if we should move on.
Okay. Both two people, so,
I third it.
okay. All right, so now, let's see, we're great. It looks like we're in good shape time-wise.
Are we looking for a symbol for swinging?
For what?
Swinging. Are we
Swinging.
looking for
All right.
a symbol or
For-
analysis?
I have
Charlotte has
I
an
have a
idea.
proposal, and I think Anne will have some other ideas too, based on what I read in your move. All right, so my idea is this. In the book that Ray and I wrote, well, I'll write the symbol first. This is the symbol. Here, this one's better.
Didn't bring you some at your house at some point?
Okay, here's this. This.
Oh, nice.
so let me explain.
ABC them.
Well, this is
Just
this just shows.
ABC for us to comment.
Oh, okay. I don't want to put magic marker on your thing. I once got in big trouble at Nightingale because I put things like this,
Are you
and then I was
using-
writing right on this for the kids on the wall, and I took it off.
Oh,
And it was all these black lines. The janitor they had to come in and paint the whole thing
Oh,
on
my
the wall
goodness.
again. So that's why,
Yes, we got the paper bags.
right, so conscious of this. See, all right, so what I am interested in is not it comes from my need in particularly with children, you know, there's a whole swinging is a whole lesson or unit, you know, the idea we're gonna do swinging movement. And following Ann Gilbert and some other people's idea of what swinging is, swinging can be very broadly defined, you know, you can swing different body parts, you can swing in different planes. Some people in strict thinking might say, well, that's not a swing, but we're thinking in a more general way that this is a swing, this is a swing. You can swing with different rhythms. And so coming up with a kind of broad definition saying a movement that is on a curved path, right, in which the energy in which there's a change in energy, usually an increase and decrease. So this would not be a swing.
Acceleration, deceleration.
It could be, but it could be I'm light and now I'm not light. I'm heavy, then I'm using heavy in the effort paradigm, not the dynamic paradigm, right? So movement in which I give into gravity, right? So it doesn't necessarily, there's an increase in that. So it doesn't necessarily, it could be you get quicker and then you get slower. But so that's not, we're just saying that there's a change in the energy, a lot of times quick to slow, and it's on a curved path. So this would not be a swing. I've changed my energy, right? But I've not gone on a curved path. This would not be a swing because even though I'm going on a curved path, I've not changed. This would be a swing. This would be a swing, right? Any plane, any body part, as long as it. And then explain a little bit further, though Ray had a different, an objection to this in this book that I'm writing. Sometimes I like to just give an image by saying pendulum-like, but that kind of narrows it in a way. So he had an objection to that, but just to get some sort of
Plus
image in
it's a
there.
smaller distance.
Yeah,
At
right.
least that's what was made
Exactly,
up.
so it's not necessarily the best thing, because then it starts connoting. So, in terms of what, can you see, all right?
Mhm.
What I came up with was, I'm going on a curved path, right? I'm drawing a curved path. Then I have a series of symbols. It kind of started out with Vera Malintek's idea about phrasing, where she says, you remember all that series of things she did for echo, you increase, you decrease, and then with Anne, actually I don't know if you remember this, Anne, but with Anne's help, Vera had things like this to be increase, decrease. And then she had this for when this is when you're increasing and then you're decreasing the energy. Not specifying what she used it for specifically for effort, but without specifying.
How do we know it's energy?
In this, Oh, in this, well, exactly, I mean, there were things about her parrot, I'm just showing you a little of the derivation. The reason increase, decrease, to me, that was problematic because it means other things.
Yeah, but
It
approaching
means
it with
increase
drawing.
and decrease something.
Exactly,
It
so,
doesn't say what.
exactly, so I came up with the idea.
And that's the addition vote. right?
Addition vote. So that's why I found that problematic, so I developed a whole other series of symbols, which a lot of people at LIMS use. I don't know, you know, or people do motif notation from the book that we use. But what I did was to do this and to say, the only problem with this is that if you do it little, it looks like it has a different meaning, of course. But that this would mean increase, decrease in energy, right?
Do we need the straight line across?
Yes, to say that, so that it's even energy. That the energy is maintained, and this is what you helped me come up with. You may not remember this, Anne, but this is, I attribute to you, your idea that helped me, that this would be equal. And it looks visually like, so now I'm being even in my energy. I'm being even I'm not changing my energy, right? Now I'm increasing and decreasing. And it, LIMS would say effort, could be dynamics, whatever. But then, so that's what this sign, I put it in here and combined this plus this and made this smaller and then came up with that to mean swing. Is that clear? Now, Anne has a different idea, I think.
Well, the whole thing about a swing is not just a curved movement. It is that giving into gravity and then rising away from gravity. It's that whole impulse. Otherwise, it isn't a swing. You're just doing a circular part. So, what you haven't given us is the true swing. Because when you talk
Right.
about a real swing, people expect that kind of initiation. And a lot of people, especially ballet dancers, are not able to have that giving in and picking it up again. And they will just do. And I'm trying to remember which of Balanchine's ballet, was it Symphony Concertante, where the dancers had to swing their legs. And they just did backward and forward to the whole leg
With control.
without any sense of swinging. And Symphony Concertante is a ballet that they thought was lost, and then they discovered it had been notated. So the notation was made available, and at that time, Michael Land was ballet master, and he could read notation, so he taught the ballet. And when I saw the performance, I mentioned this, and he said, I just couldn't get the dancers to do it. He said it was there in the notation, but ballet dancers don't have that understanding of
When was
use
that?
of weight.
When was that? I'm wondering.
Several years, about 20 years ago.
Because now with people, doing ballet dancers,
Modern ballet.
doing modern
Yeah.
pieces, I
Yeah.
mean, they couldn't, so much of modern,
I think
it
today they-
involves
they-
earthiness,
yes.
so it may be that it
Yes.
would be interesting to see if somebody could.
But then when I see the newer theater ballet doing Limon work
They
or
can't.
Cunningham, they can.
Not
Yeah.
the way, not
No.
the way of the loan
That's
company
very
can,
true.
even
Yeah.
now. So based on what you're saying then, all right, so I would like to have, sounds to me like would be useful to do, would be to have a symbol that is very broad and that it says this kind of